Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I have a question for you. Am I the only person who every time they walk into a Verizon store or any of these phone stores, you just know in the back of your mind that they're about to get you every single time. Yesterday my phone service went out. I had a nicer phone a while back, and then I had messed up my phone somehow, and I just didn't feel like spending the money. So I went on to eBay or something like that, ordered an old, like a refurbished iPhone 7 or something. And then when I go to use this phone, it just became a nightmare. It's like every time I turn around, something's wrong with the phone. Well, I think that these iPhone 7s had a defect in them. So anyway, it just kept on messing up on me. And finally, yesterday, it just decided that it wasn't going to connect to the network anymore. And so I had to go this morning, and trust you me, my body still feels like it's in shock from the heart thing. And so I was literally standing there at the counter having to spend the money to get another phone. And while I'm doing it, I'm just standing there saying, I don't care. Let's give me the phone. Let me get out of here. And I didn't really care what I was going to have to pay to get out of that store. But anyway, I know you all know the feeling. It's like you can't walk in that store and come out without spending $200 to $500, it seems like. So anyway, that's how my day started. Well, first, this thing here I got from Michelle Vandenberg, and this is from XRP Joker. The recession has begun. Hong Kong confirmed today that they are now in a recession, and it is much worse than the financial crisis of 2008. And here's some screenshots. Hong Kong in first recession for a decade amid protests. And it says Hong Kong has confirmed it has entered its first recession for a decade as it continues to be gripped by protests. And then there's this, Hong Kong in its first recession. Quarterly seasonally adjusted GDP growth looks like it has fallen off the table. Well, we've known that this was coming, so this is no surprise to any of us here. Okay, Chinu Patel must have woken up early. Remember, Chinu Patel is the Financial News Network Bureau Chief of the planet of the Digital Asset Investor channel. This guy is extremely important, and he works very hard to maintain his title. He's given me several pieces of information. The first he found from Stuart XRP at XRP_Stuart, who finds things under financial rocks that I could never find. And it's a couple of things from SBI Ripple Asia. November 15th, 2019, SBI Ripple Asia notice regarding launch of the first money transfer service between Japan and Vietnam that utilizes distributed ledger technology. SBI Remit, TP Bank, SBI Remit been providing international money transfer services in partnership with MoneyGram. Who do you think's involved in that? But anyway, this is and I think I saw Yoshitaka Katal also tweet this out. Most of these things that I'm showing you here came from Chinu Patel, by the way. This was a tweet from CZ Binance. I had a RBC account as a teenager. I proudly deposited $10 only to find out they charged me $3.99 monthly. A couple of months later, I owe them a bunch of money. My first banking experience. Don't know if they still do that. Regardless, not a small bank. And he's tweeting out this article. This is the really important thing. Royal Bank of Canada to launch cryptocurrency exchange. If you've ever wondered if you're going to have adoption of digital assets, look no further than this article right here. You have the Royal Bank of Canada, which I think is their largest bank in Canada, is going to launch a cryptocurrency exchange. And you better believe all of these exchanges, it's just a matter of time before they're all working seamlessly across all of these crypto exchanges. It will be nice and seamless. Okay, now this is Tony Valentino Now, I always have to tell you, because his tweets always, a lot of his tweets intrigue me, and I have to show them to you because if they're interesting to me, they are probably going to be interesting to you. This is Marcus Treacher, I think, speaking here. And he says Swift will use XRP. There's no doubt about that. All these Western institutions, banks, companies are all coming together. All are basically owned by a few major corporations. All will be connected to the XRPL directly or indirectly via software providers, ILP, to bring value to XRP. Well, I agree with what he's saying here. I think that through R3 and all of that, I believe that one way or another, XRP is going to be in the flows, even if it's just some of the Swift flows, or Swift will just have its butt kicked, one or the other. But I think they will probably work in conjunction with Ripple and XRP. Okay, from Cryptopolis yesterday, backed testing consumer app in preparation for imminent launch for retail traders. Now, I don't know for sure if that's what this is or not. It says we recently revealed more news about Back. It says our consumer app is currently being tested as we approach launch. Now, I'm not sure if this is in reference to their consumer app, which you'll be able to use like in a Starbucks to buy coffee with Bitcoin. I don't know if this is referring to the retail trading of digital assets, but what I do know is whether it is or is not, it's just a matter of time before you have retail trading on Back and all of these other platforms. Remember, they initially came out when all of these, whether it was Fidelity Digital Assets, Backed, or all of them, the way they sold it to begin with is that this is an institutional level trading. And I've always said from day one that it will eventually be retail trading. They're just going to make sure the institutions have all of their money parked before they open it for retailers, for retail investors. Okay, let's see what we have here. Michael, VAL5 links. Michael is the one guy that provides me more information that has never asked for a title. He must think that titles are silly. I don't know. I've never asked him, but he's never asked me for a title. He could be the official guy that provides information to the digital asset investor channel all the time if he wanted to keep it simple. Okay, but he sent me this. And this is another Tony Valentino tweet, which I found intriguing. So here you go. Let's put something to rest regarding the 50 billion XRP escrow. Many questions about it again after Jed McCaleb burned 50 billion XLM since nobody wanted to use it. It made sense for Stellar to reduce their supply. Desperation. The XRP escrow serves as a treasury function. Understand economics and the financial world. XRP is being set up to be digital gold that will affect everything and anything of value moving across borders. This makes me even more valuable than gold. Makes it even more valuable than gold. It becomes the lifeblood of the system. Without it, there's no system. Any system like this that's being built to run for centuries or eternity must have reserves. So if there's a shortage or a need, a centralized institution like the IMF, your country's slave master, can distribute some to keep things running smoothly. I'm not going to read all of this, but I do want to make one point that I forgot to make. And this is one thing that I heard from an investment banker at Swell. This is a guy who told me that this is the one thing about Stellar that I was told. I don't know anything more than this, but I will tell you that I was told this. This particular guy said that his company had gone to Stellar to try to work with Stellar, and that the team was just not there to help them, to the point where phone calls weren't returned. That's just one guy and one guy's experience, but I was told that by a guy. I know nothing about how good Stellar is and their company or anything else, because I'm not really studying. I'm just telling you what one guy told me. So, but as far as all of this goes, I'm more focused on the XRP part of this, and I know that somewhere, somehow, the IMF is involved in this situation. Okay, next, XRP Crypto Wolf, Ripple Drop Episode 16. Now, in this, it says Ripple's Senior Manager for University Partnership Program, Lauren Weymouth, said universities are going to be using the XRP Ledger and Interledger Protocol ILP for building applications and developing technology. Now, I wanted to show you this part. He's interviewing two college students who have developed a product through this initiative. They've developed a product which will use XRP and the Interledger protocol. And to me, this shows you just how smart this whole program is, this university blockchain research initiative. If you can imagine students all around the world that have an incentive to be building new applications that will be built on the XRP ledger, that's a no-brainer for you and I. Do you know of any other digital assets that have such a setup, that have Ripple, which is working on the primary or the major use case for payments and settlement, and then have an incubator in Spring, and then a university initiative to get students to create new companies and applications using XRP? You can't, I mean, it couldn't be a better setup. All right, Crypto Utility Guy. He is the CEO of the Crypto Utility Club. I don't know what that is. An official ex-smoker to the Digital Asset Investor channel for being shot as a Nazi prisoner on Band of Brothers. And he sent me this. Wow, pension funds are coming. The New York Stock Exchange owner wants to bring Bitcoin to your 401k. And this is an article from Fortune, which I'm not going to go into. And he says, are crypto credit cards next? Well, what's important to note here is you better believe it. The 401, imagine being able to roll your 401k and roll it into an IRA. Imagine when the world has a financial collapse and all these people lose their jobs, they've got to take those 401ks and put them somewhere. Imagine a world where they can roll them into something and invest in digital assets. You can't do that in your 401ks currently. It's coming. It's going to be huge. And then there's this, crypto for cash. China begins phase 1 of digital yuan rollout. I'm not going to go into this article, but I do want to make sure you understand that while China is rolling out their digital yuan, we are focused here in the United States on BackOn. So we are on top of it. Just wanted you to know that. Okay. And then Rob Likert sent me, he's the official barista of the Digital Asset Investor channel. He sent me this. Now, this is from the Tron Foundation. You can go and watch for yourself. It starts at about 1 minute. Justin Sun's interview by Dragon TV. Now, he says in this interview, and it's got captions here so you can read it in English, but he says in this interview that he's working with Ripple. Now, there's something that might be lost in translation here. He basically presented it in this video that he is Ripple's representative in China. This was uploaded on November the 13th. However, just reading between the lines, I believe, and I don't know, but I believe that this is an older video. I think that this guy is a media tweaker, and I think that he knew by uploading, I think this is an older video. I could be wrong, but I believe this is an older video from back when, because he did work at Ripple, and he worked, I think, out of China for Ripple when he did. And I think there's either something lost in translation, or I think he intentionally uploaded an older video to try to make people think that he is partnered with Ripple somehow through Tron now. That's what I believe. Okay, next. This is from Sincerely George. I just wanted to give these guys a shout out and make everyone aware of this. The XRP Community Choice Awards has raised over 21,000 XRP for the XRP Fund. The party will stream live on YouTube Saturday at 7 p.m. Please help spread the word. This is the XRP Community Choice Awards, and they asked me if I would, I think it may have been Sincerely George. Somebody asked me if I would present one of these, and I turned it down, not because I have any problem with what they're doing. I knew that I would be getting back from Vegas, then Singapore, and then that I had this this AFib procedure, and for that reason I turned it down. It wasn't because for any other reason than that, and you can still hear it in my voice. I literally, just to describe to you how I feel, how I've felt the last 2 or 3 days. Have you ever seen like a video of like a dog, like a bear and its bear cub, and one of them has been shot or hurt. And maybe the mama bear is laying on the ground and the bear cub is nudging the mom with its nose. Well, I have felt like the mom that's laying there on the ground that can't move for the last 2 or 3 days. And my kids and my wife have kind of been nudging me. That's kind of how I have felt for the last couple of days. And so even though I've done my videos, when I turn my video on, I try to have a little more life in my voice than what I have the rest of the day. But you can kind of hear it in my voice now. But anyway, so I will try my best to tune into this, but I do apologize that I couldn't participate this time, maybe next time. Okay, John McAfee. This is an actual time where John McAfee says something that I totally agree with. He says a lot. I mean, he's a smart guy. It's just, but usually he's just kind of doing the anti-government thing. He says, I left McAfee Inc. because I wanted to see what life was like being able to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, wherever I wanted, and to own anything I could possibly want. That was almost 30 years ago. I've learned much. And then he says, everything that you think you own, in fact, owns you. And I'll give you an example of that. Many times I've thought about wanting to buy a nicer home or buy a piece of land or this or that. And then when I start thinking about it, once I buy that piece of land, then I've got to deal with that piece of land, whether it's cutting grass or putting fences up or this or that. Or when you buy that home, the bigger the home, the more problems the home has. So he's right. Everything you own does, in fact, own you. And those of you that are listening to my voice that are, you may not think it right now, but there's a good chance if you're invested in digital assets this early that you will be put in a position where you can own a lot of things really quick, and before you know it, you look up and it's nothing but a bunch of problems, especially boats and planes and things like that. So be careful what you get into. And finally, Sergeant Obi-Wan at XRP Tip Bot Raffle. XRP astronaut shirt will be given to the winner who sends one XRP via XRP Tip Bot to me, retweets this message, and follows me. Proceeds will go directly back to VTSAVN minus cost of shirt and shipping. For more research, XRP. So anyway, I just wanted to send this out. So go, you can go and retweet this and follow his instructions here to have a chance to win his t-shirt. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family. Don't go in a phone store if you don't want to spend money. Thank you for listening.